Hey friends, it's Drea and I'm back with another frequently asked questions video, and today we're going to be talking about this little guy. We're talking bobbins. Okay, I did not know we had so many bobbin questions, which is totally fine because I'm willing to talk about it. So after getting so many different types of questions about bobbins on my comments on YouTube, messages on Instagram, emails, we need a video so that way I can easily send y'all to the bobbin video. So this is a bobbin that belongs on my Brother Innovis NQ1600E, and I also work with a Genome Memory Craft 500E. Bobbins are not the same, okay? I can't just interchange and have one set of bobbins for both my machines. Doesn't work that way. They each type of machine, and I mean, like, I'm talking about brands, okay? So Genome will have one type of bobbin, Brother's gonna have another. My Brother bobbin, for instance, is an SA156 bobbin size. That's what I look for when I want to get a bobbin for that. It's taller than some other bobbins, so that's why I couldn't just take like a bobbin that perhaps you could use in like a Singer machine or a Baby Lock or a Bernina and go ahead and pop it on over there. I can't do that. It'll mess up your machine. So please always be careful and make sure that you read your user manual if you don't know. If you bought it from a dealer, you could usually ask the dealer real quick, hey, what kind of bobbins do I need to buy? And they can let you know. But it's easy. Just get on Google. That's all I did is I did a quick Google search of the manual and typed in the name of my machine. It was very easy. That's how I figured it out when I needed to buy more bobbins. Other thing I've been asked is I didn't notice if you changed out your bobbin thread when you were making your felty videos. The answer to that is I actually did not change out my bobbin thread unless my bobbin was empty, okay? Other than that, there's no real need for me to change it out. So bobbin thread is not the same as embroidery thread. Bobbin thread belongs on your bobbin, and it comes in varying weights. You'll also have to look at your machine to let you know, same thing in the manual, what would be best suited for your machine. For instance, on my Brother machine, it does say that you can use anything in your bobbin except that it cannot be a weight of 20 or less. So what does that mean, thread weight? What is thread weight? Thread weight is essentially how heavy or how thick the strand is. So all the way around. So it's backwards. The lower the number, actually the heavier the thread. So typically bobbin thread is actually thinner and lighter than embroidery thread. Embroidery thread is about at a 40 weight usually. That's what I buy. All of my Madeira threads is at a 40 weight, that's how thick it is. And then for the bobbin, according to my machine, typically I like to use a 60. I did try a 90 on this machine and I didn't particularly care for it. I do use a 90 weight on my Genome. I found that that is best for that machine and those bobbins. Also, you have to be very careful because, for instance, on my Memory Craft, my Genome, I did have to change out the bobbin case because there are tension issues with different sizes of thread. So for instance, since I'm using a 90, which is significantly lighter than the 60 weight, I actually had to change out my bobbin case, the little thing that holds your bobbin when you pop it in your machine. I had to take that out and put in a high tension one because I needed to make sure that it would still be able to use the thread that I wanted. So also be careful with that. That's not every machine because the Brother does not do that. It just has the one bobbin holder. But for Genome, if you are a Genome user looking at one of those, be careful because they do have a tiny little dot, and that dot on the holder lets you know what type of tension that bobbin case is able to produce. So that's going to be important for what type of thread you have. If you have more questions on that, please let me know. If you're a Genome user, I'll tell you what I mean about the dot. Let me know. I don't know how many people use Genome on this channel. So those are a couple things. Also, colors. People are like, well, so if I don't change it out, like, why do I use white? Typically, bobbin thread is white. I've seen it also in black. I do purchase white and I purchase black, but not for the reasons you think. Anytime I make felties, always white. Always, always, always white. The only reason I use black is when I'm making snap tabs, and that's because the back of my snap tab keychains have a black pleather, and I think that it blends the stitches in better than white. White to me is very like in your face, and I don't like the look of it. So that's just a personal creative choice I've made. But when you're talking about making felties and what needs to be on your bobbin, white thread, that's all you need. You don't need anything. You don't need the back to match the front. And there's a reason why there are different weights. There's a reason why there's a thinner weight on the bottom bobbin thread than there is on the top. So on the top, when you make embroideries, it's rather dense to have a really thick thread on there, and so it covers all the surface area. However, to offset that, on the bottom it's actually the opposite, and you want something loose so that way the bottom doesn't get all gunked up and knotted and it's not super hyper dense. So in a way, it's kind of like a balancing act where it's thicker and more dense on the top, and on the bottom it's more light and not so dense. So that's the reason we have two. Don't just use your regular white embroidery thread to put it onto your bobbin. Also, there's different ways you can buy bobbins. You can buy bobbins that have nothing on them, and you will wind them yourself on your machine, or you can order pre-wound bobbins, so you'll never have to worry about winding a bobbin in your life. I wind my own bobbins. That's just a personal choice. I could buy pre-wound if I wanted to. However, I have this weird guilt about having all these empty bobbins, and what do I do with them? It makes me feel wasteful. Again, that's just something that's within myself. Do what's easy for you. If it's easier for you to have a pre-wound bobbin because you're afraid that there might be some tension issues if your machine does not wind it correctly, or you're too nervous and you don't want to have to deal with that, totally get it. Buy yourself some pre-wound bobbins. Okay, another question that I got asked was, where do you buy bobbin thread? Bobbin thread is easily purchased anywhere. You can do a simple Google search for embroidery bobbin thread, the weight that you're looking for. Again, if you want to know what the weight is that you need to use for your machine, go ahead and check your user manual. It is typically between a 60 and 90 weight thread. Or you could go to somewhere like an All Stitch where they do sell embroidery supplies online. Also your dealer if you shop, if they have like a little shop. Like here it's a mom and pop shop that I did buy this one from. So they also have like a store. It's not just machines, but they do sell quilting and embroidery supplies and things of that nature. So if I wanted to, I could go there. But I actually just get mine from Amazon. It comes on a spool like this. I do it for both machines. That's the 60 weight that I use on this. I do have another spool for the other machine. They come in a pack of 2. I'll go ahead and link to them in the description below if it's something you're interested in. If you're like me and Amazon just makes life so much easier, that's an option as well. You may try it for yourself. Bobbins, also really easy to find. I have also purchased those on Amazon. Again, you could go to an All Stitch, simple Google search, your dealer if you have a dealer. Things of that nature. That's not a hard thing to find, not at all. The other thing is your bobbin thread can actually tell you a lot about what's going on with your machine. If you end up seeing the white bobbin thread appearing at the top of your project, you have a tension issue. Usually it can be simply solved with just rethreading everything. It's a lot easier than having to figure out what's going on. If the problem does persist, there might be an issue, and depending on which thread you see, you may have to change the tension on the top thread. You might either have to loosen or tighten it depending on your issue. We're not going to talk about that in this video. That's something for a different day. So if you have any more bobbin related questions, please go ahead and leave them anywhere. You can leave them in the comments of this video. You could leave them, send me a message if you're more comfortable. Whatever you would like to do, let me know if you have any more bobbin questions. I'm going to continue to do these frequently asked questions because it's a lot easier than me just replying the same thing to everyone. And not only that, it makes it easy for me to just go ahead and quickly link this to future people who have questions that send me in my DMs or emails or whatnot. The other thing too is, don't forget, we now have a Facebook group for Drea's Felty Friends and Design Buddies that's now on Facebook. It's fairly new. It's also a great place to also ask your questions. You can share whatever you've made, ask questions. It could be about the designs or about, simple things that maybe everyone else in the group can help you to solve. If you want to send a picture and say, hey, this is happening to me, does anyone know why? Share where you buy your felt. Show us if you got really cool felt or different things that we've never seen, or vinyls that you're using for your felties. It's a creative space for us all to get together to share tips, tricks. Have a good time, share our makes, and also it's a great place for you to suggest new felty designs. I do get a lot of messages on Etsy, DMs on Instagram, various emails of people saying, oh, can you do this, can you do that, can you do this, another. Oh, it's very hard to keep them all in my mind organized or even written down. I've lost the paper several times. It's easy if you just join the Facebook group. There's a post in the announcement section where you can suggest everything that you would like to see. I'm not going to say that I'm going to make everything. It depends on what you're suggesting, but when I see that there are certain designs that perhaps are getting a lot of attention and other felty friends also have interest in, the more likely I'm going to be persuaded to work on that one. So go ahead and join the Facebook group. It's fairly new. We only have like 12 members, so it'd be nice if you came on and stopped by and joined, interacted, made some new felty friends, and had a good time. So until next time, friends, bye bye.